Welcome to Gamed Out. My name's Richard, and this is this week's episode where I'm going to be doing a little bit something different. That was the worst English in the world. You know what? Let's have an intro and let's get it. Hello everyone, thanks for joining me. Thank you for all the listeners, thank you for the viewers, and thank you for everything. If you are viewing this on YouTube, please do like and subscribe the video. Videos twice a week on a Friday and a Monday, and then audio podcasts all on a Friday. There you can find it at Gamed Out on your favourite podcasting app, wherever you get it from, or follow the link in the description down below if you want to hear the rest of the show. So, as I said in the intro, we're looking at something a little bit different today. I'm going to be a little bit whingy, a little bit antsy, and a little bit complainy because I want to complain about the Steam Deck. Well, not the Steam Deck itself. The Steam Deck is great. I'm enjoying my time with it, but I want to complain that there's a certain game that I'm currently playing on my computer that I can't play on Steam Deck, and I don't understand why. And that game is Destiny 2. So I'm going to roll back a little bit before we get into the real meat and potatoes. Is my PC is set up for three things. Recording, that I'm doing now, sim racing, and Destiny 2. And that's kind of what it is set up for. I use my PC for the sim racing. Yes, I've done sim racing through this thing, connected to an external monitor. It's just a bit clunky. You have to really dial back the graphics settings. It's not really designed for that kind of thing, even though Automobilista 2 is a verified game, and I will be installing that on the Steam Deck to see how that plays. But overall, it's not really that kind of system where you're meant to be plugging in steering wheels and doing this, that, and the other. You are, it's handheld gaming on the go. It's playing something like Ni no Kuni or Tales of Rise or something like that on the go, and doing your gaming on the couch or wherever you do your gaming and all that kind of good stuff. My PC is there for the big stuff, but that doesn't mean I don't want the big stuff on my Steam Deck. Yes, and before anybody says anything in the comment section, I'm looking at you commenters. I know I can play Destiny 2 on my Steam Deck, but I do not want to have to be in desktop mode via the internet or whatever, playing it through Stadia or GeForce Now. I do not want it via a cloud platform. I want it installed natively on deck. That's what I want, and that's what Bungie need to give me. I love Destiny 2. Now, Destiny 2 is not a perfect game. It's by far got its problems, or it had its problems, and it looks like the development team have really kind of ironed out those things where they're not vaulting content anymore, even though content that was vaulted isn't getting unvaulted, those kind of things. But there is so much good about Destiny 2. I'll get onto something in a minute that is bad. Apologies, there are no notes for this video. I had a thought earlier. I wanted to sit down in front of everyone. I just wanted to record. I just wanted to get this off my chest that Bungie need to allow us to play Destiny 2 on Steam Deck. That's as simple as that. But the good stuff, the real good stuff about Destiny is everything like the shooting. The actual shooting mechanics of that game is absolutely fantastic. The Twitch style responses, the PvP, the way it feels, the way you move, just everything, I love it, and it looks great. And it's got its dirty claws into me at the minute that I'm playing it at quite a constant rate. I'm logging on, and to be fair, it's stopping me from completing my backlog. And if I get a chance in this video, we'll go into a discussion about something else, about my gaming habits, I suppose. But when the idea of the Steam Deck is to change my gaming habits, and my PC becomes my main source, if you like, of like my sim racing, or it becomes my, the powerful games that if I want to see something at 4K or 1440p on my ultra wide monitor, it's that for that. Sim racing on my PC is amazing. It's a great experience, and I wouldn't change that. And playing Destiny 2 on my PC is fantastic, but I want to play it on the go. I know it's an internet-based game and you can't play it on the go, but if I'm like on the couch and I don't want to boot my PC up, but I want to do a Vanguard Strike or something like that, I want it on this thing. This is where I want to play it. Now, I know, before I keep going on, There are games similar in style, if you like, as Destiny. You can get Guild Wars 2 on the Steam Deck. You can get Path of Exile. You can get Final Fantasy 14, and you can get Warframe. And Warframe is a fantastic space-style shooter, and ninjas in space and all that kind of stuff. And I do have a video coming up where we look at some of the free games, and Warframe will be on that list. But I don't want to play those. I want to play Destiny 2, and I don't understand why. I don't get it, and we're going to read why Bungie have said they're not putting it on deck. Let's have a little read. I think for me, it's trying to understand why. Maybe I'm a little bit thick to it. I don't know. Maybe I am just a little bit thick and don't understand the limitations of the deck, or don't understand that there could be cheating or something. But for me, I don't get it. Especially when you do have games like Guild Wars 2, which has a competitive or as a PvP side. When you have Final Fantasy 14, also has a PvP side. You have Path of Exile. These games are available on the Steam Deck. And PC Gamer, this was written back in March of this year, so we're talking a good 7 months, and nothing's changed. So we'll go over first, let's go over the Destiny 2 FAQ. Steam Deck and Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is not supported for play on Steam Deck or any other system utilizing Steam Plays Proton unless Windows is installed and running it. So for me, I would have to install Windows on my Steam Deck, which completely and utterly negates the whole idea of having a Steam Deck, to run Destiny 2, and then install Steam, and then play Destiny 2 that way. Or, as I've said earlier in the video, I would have to do a cloud-based setup and go through Stadia or GeForce Now. And there's a good reason why I don't do that, is because all of my save, like my DLC, is all linked to my Steam account. It doesn't cross-play, even though I can, if I unlock everything on one of my classes, I go over to my Stadia account, and I'll be able to use that stuff, but I won't be able to do any of the other bits and pieces. So the FAQ goes on to say, players who attempt to launch Destiny 2 on Steam Deck through SteamOS or Proton will be unable to enter the game or be returned to their game library after a short time. Players who are not accessing Destiny 2 through Windows and attempt to bypass SteamOS Proton incompatibility will be met with a game ban. So there we are. If you boot up Destiny 2 on Steam Deck, you're getting banned. So, I don't know why. I don't get it. So there's an article here from PC Gamer. They all kind of run the same line, and this is just one that kind of caught my eye. Bungie will ban Destiny 2 players for trying to bypass Steam Deck's incompatibility. Any system using Steam Play's Proton compatibility layer is incompatible with Destiny 2, Bungie says. Destiny 2 is not supported on Steam Deck. Anyone trying to bypass it will be met with a game ban, according to the help and troubleshooting information on the Bungie website, which we just read. The article goes on, the FAQ goes on to promise that players who attempt to bypass Destiny 2 will get a ban. I seem to be repeating myself. Proton is Valve's Linux compatibility layer, which is the key to running games programmed for Windows PC on a Linux-powered machine, such as Steam Deck. It is also available to use on other Linux machines, as is the open nature of Linux, which is great. I realised I went at 100 knots just then. Sorry. Some users have already taken to the Destiny game subreddit to discuss the decision, including one user explains in great depth why Bungie is in the right here. Essentially, their argument boils down to Linux lack of secure boot and user configurable kernels. So now we get to possibly a reason. Or at least the Steam Deck's lack of therefore is regarded, which could leave Destiny 2's multiplayer open to cheaters. Have they not seen what goes on PC for Destiny 2? I know they've got better over the years, but my God, at one point it was so rife with cheaters. It was absolutely ridiculous. OS Secure Boot can attest with crypto signatures that's running to Steam specifications, and the user have no rights to install unauthenticated kernel level drivers or interfere with other programs. Says user Floating Toll. I would not trust anti-cheat systems on Linux because Linux has no mechanism to boot in a mode that can't be modified by the user. We really don't know the exact reason for Bungie's lack of Steam Deck support, but it's almost certainly down to ensuring its anti-cheat software is still able to effectively keep the online multiplayer free from cheaters. It's unlikely that Valve is going to ship enough Steam Decks in the short term to make any major overhauls to Destiny 2's anti-cheat worthwhile in this case too. That's along the same line argument that Fortnite developer Epic made when it decided not to update Fortnite to run on Steam Deck. Speaking to The Verve, company CEO Tim Sweeney said Linux is a small market already, and if subdivided by blessed kernel versions, then it's even smaller. Paired with the inability to run custom kernels that could bypass the client-side anti-cheat, it becomes greater to risk for Epic's incredibly popular Battle Royale. We don't have confidence that we'd be able to combat cheating at scale under the wide array of kernel configurations, including custom ones, Sweeney said. And now Bungie joins them in shunning the Steam Deck native Linux OS. That said, Apex Legends recently added support for Steam Deck and its compatibility layer. And there's always going to get anti-cheat software operational in Linux, even Epic's own easy anti-cheat. Thus, it's likely to come down to each game developer and their own integration of anti-cheat, as it's whether the Steam Deck and the wider Linux ecosystem is supported. And I think there's probably a bit more of this article kind of hits it a little bit more. There's definitely a lack of players, I think, and you'd probably have to split the player base. Is probably one of the biggest reasons, and I think also it's the work on Linux that they would have to do to get it running. It's probably a massive headache, but it's all more of a massive headache that I can't play one of my favourite games on the Steam Deck. It's probably not a bad thing, and probably means I should walk away from Destiny 2 and play some of the games that I need to play for this podcast. But, you know, Destiny 2 is a really good game. I alluded to earlier about what makes it a good game, and there's a lot to it. There's a lot of good in that game. As I said, the shooting mechanics, the music, the story is some of the best. You know, now is becoming a really great story, a lot of fun. There's a lot of good coming out of this game, and I can't experience it where I want to experience. I've got to be stuck at my PC in front of my monitor, not being able to play it on the system. And they give us the anti-cheat reason, which probably makes up most of the reason. It probably makes up proportion of why they don't want it on. But when you see things like Apex Legends, Warframe, Guild Wars 2, Path of Exile, Rocket League is available on Steam Deck. When you see those games on Steam Deck, you do have to wonder, why are you not doing it? And again, it's probably more down to the fact that there's not enough Steam Decks in the wild to really make it worth it, that would probably switch over to playing onto Destiny to develop that sort of side, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them for it. It doesn't mean I agree with it. Destiny 2 is a fantastic game, and I can't play it on the system that I want to play it. It's very strange. It's a very strange world we live in, but they have shunned the Steam Deck, and I wanted to sit down and talk to you and rant about it. That's as simple as that. That's what that first part of this video was. So let me know, would you like to play Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck, or are you happy it's not on there and it gives you a chance to break away from those habits of playing an MMO-style game? I alluded to this earlier in my rant, actually. And that was the fact that my gaming habits on Steam Deck haven't changed. And I'd love to know, this is more of a questionable piece and a Twitter question. We haven't done the gamed out Twitter question for some time. But actually what I wanted to discuss was gaming habits. I'm terrible for completing a game. I'm terrible for it. I just don't do it, and I really want to. The idea of this podcast is to sit down and talk to you about doing like a book club style podcast where I play these damn games. But I keep going round in circles, installing a game and then not installing a game and trying a game and then doing this, doing that. And it just seems to be leaving me in this really weird state of flux that I don't seem to be getting anywhere. And what I want to know from you guys and girls is, are you the same? Do you buy a game and play like 10 minutes of it and then move on to the next shiny thing like a script? Or can you do it? Can you play through a game? And to be fair, I am now at the point where I'm a bit more settled, and I have been playing a bit more Ni no Kuni. We're about 4 or 5 hours in, but I don't feel like I'm that far in or far enough to really sit and say, yeah, this is good. But we are going to talk about Ni no Kuni shortly. But that's the kind of weird thing about it. I've got this really powerful kind of games console in my hands with all these games in my Steam library, and I still can't get round to getting anything completed. Like, but why? But that does bring me on to what I have been playing this week, and essentially it's mainly Ni no Kuni, and I've been doing a retro game, which has been Paper Mario. The Steam Deck is incredible for emulation. It really is. It's some of the best ways to experience some of these games. Paper Mario was a game that alluded to me when I was younger, and I couldn't resist. You know, emulation is a weird grey area, and that's not what I'm going to get into as a discussion today. I'm not going to get into the whole, ooh, it's a bit illegal, emulation. It's a strange grey area in life. If you're like selling them, then that's you're bad. I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I'll explain my stance. I don't agree with you dumping the ROMs and then sticking them up for sale or, you know, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, dumping the ROMs on your computer, you know, and then playing those games on a different piece of hardware is fine. I think that's fine. I have no issue with that. It's when you then find out people are selling them and then. But Nintendo are that weird one because there's not really a great way, and their own emulators on their own systems suck. They really do. But like the idea that we can play emulated games on the go really is quite fantastic. So the two games that I've mainly been playing this week on Steam Deck is Ni no Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch. Now, with Ni no Kuni, I have done probably roughly about 10 hours on my Switch. So I'm playing catch up. That's where I am. Spoilers for Ni no Kuni if you haven't played it. Sorry. The first opening hour is all about that kind of introduction. It hits you with a bit of the feels to begin with. It's developed. It's got Studio Ghibli and Level 5. They're the companies behind it. Studio Ghibli did all of the art style. It's amazing. It's a wonderful looking game. So Studio Ghibli, who did the animation for it, it's a Japanese animation studio, headquarters in Tokyo, and it's best known for animated feature films. But it, as I said, it's done the Ni no Kuni stuff, and it is like one of the best looking games. If I do get a chance and this stays on the YouTube channel, I will bust a load of footage over the top of this video like I normally do. But it's great. It genuinely is a great looking game, and I think it was originally released in 2013, I want to say. Let me find out while I'm looking. All right, so it was actually a first release in 2010, which is mad. I don't know if Studio Ghibli did if they did the second one, but I've got the second one on my Steam Deck as well. It's not installed, but the plan is to play through both of those. What I didn't know about Studio Ghibli while I was just looking for that, they're actually got their parent company is Walt Disney Studios Japan. Is there anything in this world that is not owned by Disney Studios of some description? But back to Ni no Kuni. Again, spoilers. You play as Oliver. It's the main character. And you have a fairy friend called Mr. Drippy. I don't know. But the guy who plays the voice of Mr. Drippy, he's Welsh, and it's like some of the best voice acting I've ever heard. It's so good, and it's the lines are so incredible. I love the way Drippy speaks and the way the stuff he comes out with, and the way he sort of berates Oliver in the beginning. Oliver loses his mum right at the start of the game. The mum dies, but what you're told is that there's a possibility, a doppelganger, if you like, in another world, and that's your idea is to go say who's been imprisoned, I think, by someone called Shadar, who takes people's hearts, proper anime stuff, and it's your job to go around and save the world. You Ni no Kuni is known for its kind of Pokemon-esque style system, so you get familiars which you can use to battle. The cool thing about like the Ni no Kuni battle system is that you can actually, how to put this, you can battle yourself. So you can use spells, fire. I've only unlocked fire at the minute on Steam Deck, but I think you collect different familiars. I haven't got to that part yet. So on the Steam Deck itself, we've just managed to open Ding Dong Dell, which is the first place. We've just got our adventurer's clothes that were left by some adventurer, and we've just managed to restore a piece of heart to the guards through using the enthusiasm or capture heart and release heart. The game has been on my backlog for absolute months and months and months and months. And I grabbed it it was so cheap on the Switch at one point, and I grabbed it because I wanted to be able to play the game on the move. It's sat in my Steam library for a couple of years, and I wanted to be able to play it on the move. And I only got 10 hours in, and I said to myself, do you know what? The one thing I'm going to do when I get my Steam Deck is play Ni no Kuni 1 and 2. I'm a massive sucker for a good JRPG, a turn-based JRPG, an action-based JRPG, anything like that I really do adore. And I think it's like one of my favorite styles of games. I love that kind of animation style. I think it's amazing. I just need to dedicate more time to playing that game, and I will, because I want to give you more of the story, more of the spoilers, more of what I think of the combat mechanics and everything else like that. So that's all I've got on Ni no Kuni because I haven't played a lot of it. But what I have played, it's great. I'm playing catch up to the Switch's version is where I am. The other game, as I said, is Paper Mario. And Paper Mario has been a really cool experience. It's a proper like chilled game. It's a lot of fun. I'm just seeing on my Steam Deck if it gives me a time played. I don't think it does. No, I don't. Sorry, headphone users. I apologise. Paper Mario. Yeah, gaming for your community. No, your stuff. No, it doesn't. But like I said, the great thing about playing emulated style games is you get serious battery life. Ni no Kuni is probably, because it's a bit of an older game, you get roughly like 4 hours plus on Ni no Kuni, which is cool. But Paper Mario, because it's an emulated N64 game, I'm getting like 6-7 hours of that, and it's great. Typical Mario gets invited to a party by Peach. Peach gets kidnapped by Bowser. You got to save the day. But the Paper Mario series is my favorite Mario series or style, Mario style. I think it's some of the best, and I think Nintendo, I think I'll have an opinion of Paper Mario or of this one and 1,000 Year Door, because that's also up after this, after I've played through them. But I've always admired and loved the Paper Mario series and the Paper Mario style. It's some of my favorite. I love the turn-based combat. We are, spoilers for Paper Mario, we are at a point now where we have just got the hammer and the spike jump thing that you can jump on their heads, and I've got my first companion, and we are kind of battling our way through. We just defeated King Goomba, I believe it was, which is cool. The game itself is a lot of fun so far, but I just need to dedicate more time. Like I said, I haven't dedicated a lot of time. I'm just going round in circles with games. That's pretty much it. But that's what I've been playing. Hopefully next week on Gamed Out, I'm going to have more on those games because I want to deliver more information. But I'll also do a first impressions of a game as well. So watch or listen out for that. That's upcoming next week. But let me know your opinion of Ni no Kuni. No, let me know your opinion of, do you think Destiny 2 should be on Steam Deck? Let me know. That's what I want to know from you guys in that one. And yeah.